The reason why I did my whole board like this is because I do a lot of traveling and I take my brushes everywhere, and I tend to go through, and whatever the mood strikes me, I will stop and paint. But you don't want your surface to take and mess up, because you can see how this bled through when I was showing this. Let me give you another example here. This is rice color paper, rice paper. It's smooth on one side and rough on the other. You want the rough side facing up. And we're going to, first you're going to wet your brush, okay? You're going to pinch half of that out to get that, this tip end of the soot on the edge of the brush, so that when you take and you make your lines, it makes that beautiful kind of the texture in the branch that I'm making, okay? And you kind of go that way and that way, and then that way, when you have that branch, kind of that extra texture in it, it makes it have character. It makes it look so much better. Okay, and then of course you want to do like a bud coming off of there. But when you have it on something, you want to draw the water away from the paper. When it's not watercolor paper that kind of sits on top, you want to draw the water away from it, because you don't want to have too much water. It's going to bleed like crazy. You see how much water is there? And it just soaks it up. So when you're painting with this style of paint, you want to make sure that, and you're using watercolor paper, rice paper, so sorry. You want to make sure you have this kind of cloth underneath, so that you can have this beautiful texture, or draw the water away, so you'll be able to have what you want. Now I'm going to show you another neat thing about rice paper, is you can take and turn it on the back side of the paper and paint your sky, okay? And then we're going to, let's see if I have enough yellow here to give texture on red. And then I'm going to do the background. And when you flip it back over, when it dries, you will see this color push through. Right now, all you see is this wetness, okay? But believe me, when it dries, it will be a lot better. Let me tear this off. When rice paper is very wet, it is very fragile. So you have to be careful with messing with it. But when it is dry, it is quite durable. Here's a piece here. You can wide it up, and it's pretty strong. There's a little trick that a lot of them do. They'll take and wad up the paper ahead of time, and then they will go through, we'll let that dry here a minute. They will go through and make rocky formations, because of the way the paper is all crunkly. Okay, see how that looks? And then when they're done, they will iron out the paper. And when they iron out the paper, that gives this really, really cool texture into the painting. Okay? And of course, go through and you can grab your watercolor and make your trees in front of the mountain, like so. But this is just a quick showing you about the tools, about the different brushes, the difference between the two watercolors, the soot, which is Sumi ink, oops, and even though it did wet this, that's fine. It's no worries. I can dry it, and it will dry as long as I don't tear the paper. It will. What I love about soot is that once it's on the paper, it does not smear. That was a happy accident. So I can actually show you. See, it does not smear. So I can redo this, dry this up. But you see where the green is at right here? That's the watercolor. The soot don't come up because once it's gone into the fabric or the fiber, and they used to actually paint soot on fabric over in China and Japan. So I'll let this dry and I'll have this pretty mountain range right here. And I'll iron this out and it'll probably be some kind of painting later on. But that is I'll show that to you another day. And you can see how this is drying up really nicely. And that's what the rice paper looks like. And those techniques. And this is what it would look like on, this is a cardboard style paper, okay? And this is where you actually just push. You can feel it. It's not going to come off because it's soot, okay? You can feel the top of it where it's smooth and whatnot. Whereas watercolor paper, like this, it's in the paper. You can barely feel it at all. But you can see the textures, the different lines through here. Some are dark, some are light. And how this goes here. And this is on watercolor paper. So watercolor paper, rice paper, board, and you see the different tones, how dark it is. I think that's all I have. This is a piece I've done. Showed you earlier the different graduation of texture and lines and from very, very dark to very, very light with a single stroke of the brush, and the different lines here with the soot based ink. And this is what it looks like on cardboard paper, and the lines with the brushes, I don't know if I've gone through that or not. An American brush or a European brush they look similar, they look the same, or at least at first glance they do. This is all solid, okay? They're all nearly the same length, just the outside edges is shaped, and that is the end of this brush, okay? Let me flip this so you can see it better. Alright, if I open this up, that's you can see all of the sizes are up over here, okay? There's no short bristles on the inside. On a Sumi ink brush, if I open this up, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. When I open this up, you can see all the short hairs on the inside and the light hair and things. And because it holds its shape so well, this will literally make my line how I want. I can make a flat square line with it, or I can rotate it. Rotate it out and make a very thin line with it. See how that works? These are very useful. Even the cheap brushes that you get with the kit will do the same thing. These brushes, they hold their shape. Once they are there, okay, let me see. I'm going to make them. See, this is my line. You can't flatten it out and get it to stay. There's no making it flatter. As hard as you try, it's always going to be the same round shape. This will do whatever shape you pretty much want. Okay, And that is the end of this. I'm sorry it wound up being in 2 takes rather than in 1. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask below. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a blessed day and mahalo.